But a false guru takes money from you, you don't mind. Sahaja Yoga is free, of course. No doubt, Sahaja Yoga is free. But you have to contribute. How are we to run this Sahaja Yoga? There's no sense of donation in you at all. For a guru, one must know how to donate. I am surprised sometimes. There is no sense of donation. We got something, say, terracotta from India to help those people. And I was surprised that these Belgian women are so funny that they were telling everybody it is expensive. If they don't want to buy, they need not buy. Others were willing to buy, but these women were telling that these things are expensive. Where do you contribute for Sahaja Yoga? Now we had to have this pendal. We had to have all kinds of things. What do you contribute? This attachment to money can never be good for a guru. I have no attachment at all. If you ask anyone, they'll tell. Even my husband will tell that. That from inside I am absolutely detached. I don't know banking, I don't know how to keep account, somebody keep account, somebody does that. But this attachment to money in Sahaja Yoga, I won't say like Christ that you will all go to hell, but you won't rise much higher. You have come for your spiritual ascent. I don't say you go to Himalayas, stand in the cold, stand on your heads, nothing of that. But the another defect they call in me is that I never tell them that you must contribute. It is to be done with pleasure, with happiness, that you can contribute something to Sahaja Yoga. In any case, whether you give it or not, I'll have to contribute for Turkey, no doubt. I'll do that. Now, this kind of a thing, as a market is there, this is expensive, this is cheap, that. This is just an excuse because I know you can never contribute even $20 for anything. So I bring their clothes. All right. They have stitched the shirt, sent it here, and now I'm surprised. But if the free presents are given, it is very much acceptable. And nobody sees how expensive it is. So now I would say that on money matters, a guru has to be absolutely detached and giving and generous. You'll enjoy your generosity, but the problem is you are not generous at all. You think Sahaja Yoga is another marketplace where you are coming. So the generosity part is so much missing. And it's very surprising. They asked me that, Mother, please, we need some chiffon skirts and blouses for this summer. You stitch them for them, bring all the way. Nobody wants to buy, it's all lying there. There's no shopping here. So I'm going to tell you that as long as all these things are exhausted, I am not going to ask any country to send anything here for sale. To believe that you are Sahaja Yogi, you are sadly mistaken. Your attention so much. You will go to hairdressers, you will do all kinds of things, but for Sahaja Yoga you have no money. Today, as everybody has said, Mother, you should be little stern, you must tell. I am telling you this. Your progress will be very slow. Secondly, you have to introspect to find out what have you done for Sahaja. How many people you have given realization. You have powers. These gurus never had powers, though they were realized souls. You have powers to give realization. How many you have done it? And once you start doing that, you get about 10 people, 20 people from somewhere. You become great masters and you start talking about your great mastery and that you know everything, that you are the Guru, you are the Adishakti. This is at the Agya level. As soon as you reach the Agya level, you get this into your heads. So many, of course, have done so much for Sahaja Yoga, otherwise it would not have been possible to see this today. For all those who have not done anything, I must tell you that you are just standing at the same steps. Your Kundalini has risen, but you have done nothing to give it to others. Unless and until you give it, you cannot go. There are many I know who don't want to give because they think we'll catch. Don't want to look after others because they think they'll get egos. This is not the way to be in Sahaja Yoga. You have to do something which is very important to spread Sahaja Yoga. We are talking of global peace, of global transformation. And what are we doing for it? First, improve your quality. And that improvement can only come through sincere, honest introspection and also witnessing yourself every moment, how you behave. I must tell you about myself that from my very childhood I was like a grandmother. I would not tolerate anything nonsense, any stupid jokes, anything, like a grandmother. And now I am a grandmother also. And this maturity has to come in you. To talk cheaply is all right. Some people have that habit. They are no Sahaja Yogis. But the ones who follow them and talk like that shows that they have no maturity. If they were matured, they would change all these people. Wherever they are matured people, they definitely transform others. And their own behavior, people are surprised how they are. This may be exceptional, maybe very few like that. But only thing why I am pointing it out to you, that when you find somebody like that, then please try not to listen to such a person, not to follow such a person. But such a person is extremely forward type. And everybody becomes sort of a follower of such a useless Sahaja Yogi, so-called. So we have to mature. Now, how do we mature? Many ask me this question. We mature by meditation, by nirvicharita. You have to in thoughtless awareness to grow. Otherwise you cannot grow. Now, you should practice this thoughtless awareness, otherwise also. Say you are walking on the road, suddenly you see a beautiful tree. You should become thoughtless. Creation of divine. How beautiful it is. You should become thoughtless. In thoughtless Sahaja works, otherwise it does not work. You plan everything, you do everything, it won't work out. If you leave it to Sahaj, it will work out. But that never means that you should be lazy about it. Or also unsystematic. No. You have to be alert, extremely alert. Because if you are not alert, you will not see how the surge is helping you. I'll give an example. Supposing you want to meet somebody. Now that person has said, I'll meet you at 11 o'clock, say for example. You have to be alert. He said he'll meet you at 11. By some chance you are late, supposing. So you should be alert that you are late with the gentleman. At that time you should give a bandhan or raise your kundalini, do something so that you meet that person in any case whether you are late or not. But normally you should not be late. If you just give a bandhan and say, I must be there at 11 o'clock, you will be there. Surge will help you. But you even forget to give bandhans. You even forget to raise your kundalini. You even forget to give vibrations. So to mature, first of all you should know you are now Sahajogis and that you can control the whole situation if you are one with this all-pervading power. It's very simple. It was very hot. Everybody was saying it's very hot. All right. I got up. I said, I'll make it. Within 15 minutes, I made it cool. I say I made it. I. But it's not I. My connection with this all-pervading power has done the job. But the connection has to be sincere, strong, honest, and all the time in your mind you should know that you are connected. This situation is very simple to achieve, this state where you all the time feel, I am one with the Divine. Because you are not alert, you don't want to see the miracles of this great power which you are in connection. You are busy with other things. Your attention is somewhere else. You are looking at other things. And then suddenly you say, Mother, how is it I am such a Sahajogi, I could not do this and that. What's going on there? Even when I am speaking, I see people are busy with something else. So what you call is to mature through your meditation in nirvicharita, in thoughtless awareness. Unless and until you enlarge the state of thoughtless awareness, you cannot mature. Because only in the present you can mature. And present is thoughtless awareness. And I have seen what is happening, that people are only expecting all kinds of miracles from Sahaja, all kinds of help from Sahaja. But they never think, what help are we doing? What are we achieving? Where are we? So at the Agya, again, you people have to be extremely, extremely careful. Now this is for men. If you have not crossed your Agya and you start spreading Sahaja, then you can become really a funny person, not a Sahaja. This leadership business is a myth. And this myth must be seen as a myth. Whether you are leader or not leader makes no difference. But the maturity has to come. Now I am telling all this because I have decided not to punish anybody in this lifetime. So that you see for yourself. Yourself you understand. Yourself you realize. I know you very well, all of you, somehow. But I want you to realize yourself. What are we doing wrong? Where were we doing wrong? And don't judge Sahaja Yoga on what merits you get out of it. If you are not getting merits, there's something wrong with you. If you can really understand this, then you will become subtler and subtler, and all your gross attachments will become absolutely negligible. You may have concern, but you won't have attachment. From inside, this complete detachment has to come in. And that can come, as I told you, getting rid of your anger first. Secondly, getting rid of attachments to material things by generosity. It's nice to give something to somebody. You enjoy your generosity. You really enjoy. Generosity is to be enjoyed. And once you start enjoying your generosity, then you realize that your love, your compassion has now started flowing to others. Little things are there. I've seen you all love me and you do want always to give me presents, all right. But this love must spread to everybody else. You must know about others also, what they need and what you have to do. If somebody needs something, can you get for that person? Can you love that person? Can you give it to the children of other people? Something that you have. If this generosity could be just, maybe, I don't know, because I don't have to force myself to be generous. Everybody says, Mother, you are too generous. In my family, everybody thinks I am very generous and a gone case. But I don't have to generate. But perhaps you people, through introspection, will definitely become generous. And this generosity will start flowing. I have known people who have lots of money, lots of things, but not one single pie they'll give to Sahaja Yoga. Not one single pie. This sense of generosity comes when you understand what is your purpose of life, why you are here. Just to fulfill yourself with Sahaja Yoga, or to be able to do something about it without feeling that you have done something. In this, Christ has said very nicely, that he has said it, but where do you find this? That your left hand should not know with what your right hand has given. Should not have a trumpet, I. What Christ has said, to achieve that, you had to have realization, no doubt. But I would say 5th chapter of Matthew's you read. Such things so subtly did that you'll be surprised that how this religion in the name of Christ has gone on the other side of it. Now people want to be gurus because they think you have powers, that you can overpower others, you can say whatever you like to others, you can torture anyone you feel like. That's has been before, I know. Gurus have been very, very cruel to their disciples also, I know that. Once I went to Ambernath and one gentleman came to see me, his name was Swami Jagannath. And he said that my guru has told me that Adishakti is going to come to Ambernath and I will try to come at that time. I said, who is your guru? So he told me some name. He was realized so, no doubt. So he came down. He said, Mother, should he come to you or you will go to him? I said, see, I am a mother. I am not a guru. The gurus don't leave their places. Can you imagine? They call it takya. The guru should not leave his place. He should sit there and everybody must come to him. I said, I am the mother, I will go and meet him. So I met him. And the fellow who had come, this Jagannath fellow, I said, what's the matter with you? Why don't you open his agya? He's in so much pain. He said, who opened my agya? Why should I open his agya? I said, you are the guru, you are the master. So what? My guru never opened my agya. I had to fight my ego all the time, and that's how I got everything all right. I said, it's so easy to open the agya, why can't you open? So I turned his agya and opened it. He was very happy. He said, you are a mother, you do what you like. We are not going to do this. If you don't make them work hard for their realization, if you don't make them work hard for their development, they will never be all right. These human beings are like this. I said, not for me. He said, all right, you are a mother, so you forgive them, you do what you like, you try to transform them, help them, but not me. I said, all right. But, he came at my feet and all that, and he said that you must praise. She's Adishakti, you must praise her. There for a short time. Then we were coming home. Then this Baba Jagannath tells me, Mother, thank God you have opened my agya. So I said, what happened? My guru, when I came, he gave me 2 slaps on the face. I was running his ashram, supposed to be the guru. 2 slaps, and put me upside down on the well. And all the time my feet were tied up to the rope which he used to lower down, again bring me up. So he put me again and again into the water 7 times. Then he pulled me out. I said, Baba, why did he do that? He said, I must tell you that I've been smoking sometimes. What? But I said, he never gave you realization. You would be smoking in any case, that's it. He wants me to give up all these bad habits with my agya on. Now you have opened my agya, I'm all right. So I felt that the behavior of that guru was very surprising. He says he beats us. He always beats us for anything, and we have to work very hard. I also know of some gurus of the music also do that. And I met so many of such people who have been to very great gurus, and the way I got the report was so shocking to me. That why don't they tell them directly that, see, this is wrong with you and this is how you should be. But the gurus say that if you tell them like that, they'll never listen. They only know the beating. I said, Pa, what do you say? They only know beatings, yes. So the whole attitude towards the disciple is not of compassion, I feel. There are, of course, other gurus also who take a terrible test of their disciples. like as you see Sri Ramadasa. This was nothing compared to what Raja Janaka did. They will test the person and then only give realization, and out of thousands to one only. That is how we've got so many false gurus also, because they were all discarded by these realized souls. At this point, we have people who have got realization. When the real gurus are like this. I met another one. He asked me, why are you giving realization to all these useless people? I said, why? And there were some Sahajogis, he said, how many can give life for Sri Mataji? I said, why do you want to ask for their life? I don't want their life. See, this is the first question. He said, I have many who will give life for me, and he has not given them realization. So now at this juncture, when we have people who are seeking, who are going to these gurus, of course false gurus you forget, but even real gurus, they do not get their realization. Now you are capable of giving them realization, just imagine. They have big ashrams and things like that. They cannot give realization. While you can, all of you can give. Now, it's like this, that if you put little light in a lamp, and it is just giving light to itself, nothing else. Suppose. Now you have to give light to others. You have powers. You can do it. You can really change people, you can cure them. But you will not. You will bring all these sick people to me. Mother, you cure. Even for realization I have seen, they bring people to me. What is the need? You all know how to give realization, how to cure a person. All of you know. Now why is it that you people cannot do it? Firstly, you may not be matured enough. But even if you are matured, you are not assuming your own powers. You don't believe in it. Humility is all right. But you must know what power it is. Supposing somebody is a king, say, and you put him on the throne. Now if people are coming, and instead of they touching his feet, he goes and touches everybody's feet. This is no humility. This is nonsense. Whatever position you have, you should try to do with humility, means through compassion. The maturity is this, that you should know that you have these powers, you should know how to preserve these powers, you should know how to grow in peace, and then when you meet people, you should assume inside, I may be a housewife cooking for my grandchildren, doing this, doing that. But once